Hi there and welcome back. Welcome to chapter 9. Oh my gosh, we are moving right along. In chapter 9, we're going to talk about routine business messages. And the objective of chapter 9 is the learning objectives are we're going to describe how delivering routine messages impacts credibility, as well as we're going to describe the process for developing routine business messages. We're going to construct task routine messages, including requests, expectations, directions, responses, inquiries, announcements, and claim. And finally, we're going to discuss how to construct relationship-oriented routine messages, including appreciation, apologies, expressions, and sympathy for others. All right, are you ready? I am ready. So let's get started. I'm going to share my monitor now. And we are going to get ready to go. So I tell you, Chapter 9, Routine Business Messages. Again, this is a McGraw-Hill book, a publisher, and we're talking to you from business communication, developing leaders for a networked world. So routine messages can impact your credibility. Yes, it can. Your approach to routine messages influences how others evaluate your responsiveness, reliability, attention to details, commitment, and professionalism. Believe it or not, even for you guys, you judge me by my responsiveness, my reliability to respond to you when I say I'm going to, the attentions to what you're telling me in your email, as well as your commitment, and my professionalism, why I am communicating with you. So routine messages require less time than other business messages. Still need the writing process for planning, drafting, and reviewing. So most important steps is message development. So the components of this are state the primary message. State what is, your primary message in 10 words or fewer. Provide details in paragraphs of 20 to 80 words and restate the request or key message in more specific terms and state goodwill. So figure 9.1 is the writing process for routine messages. We plan, we get the content right. We identify the exact needs for our audience. We gather relevant, accurate, and up-to-date information. We create a front-loaded, direct, complete, and detail-oriented message in our planning process. During the writing process, we get the delivery right. We aim for a helpful, professional, reader-centered tone, and we also show respect for our readers' time. We apply a concise, easy-to-read, action-oriented style to this, and we use subject lines and formatting to create a simple navigational design. Finally, in the review process, we double-check everything. We get feedback when writing on behalf of a team or a unit, and we ensure that our message is fair. And remember what we talked about earlier, what the FAIR test is, and we make sure to proofread. When we're making requests, we coordinate work efforts. We're buying and selling products and services or making work relationships. The components of that request include make the request, provide rationale for the request, have a call to action, state goodwill. Okay, effective routine requests. You see how this is? I'm requesting some software from maybe the manager, and I got a subject line, request is difficult to find because it's embedded here. Rationale and genetic or vague and navigation. We got to make sure these things are right. So a more effective way is you see how in the subject line we say purchase of IBM, SSP IBM models for marketing analysts. We really state what we're talking about here, what this email is about. It makes it easy, to find a little bit later and makes things right. Request stated clearly and upfront, not embedded somewhere else. We have a rationale for our specific and clear. And then we navigate with the user the information that we need. Setting expectations is tied to your credibility and ability to foster interpersonal trust in the workplace. There are three components, guys, to this: describing responsibilities, providing details, discussing coordination. So, a less effective example of setting expectations is what we'll see here in figure 9.4. As we see here, the subject line reveals little about the expectation, and the tone is demanding and bossy. And we talked about that before. Navigation is challenging, deadlines are buried. Whereas a more effective way, as we see in figure 9.5, is the expectations are stated clearly. Responsibilities and deadlines are displayed, and our coordination is being addressed, as well as tone. It's very positive and upbeat, and these are important. They really are, guys, and we must do them. Now, providing direction. Directions typically include specific, often step-by-step guidelines for accomplishing particular tasks. And messages with procedures and directions make the steps stand out clearly by enumerating each one. So components of directions are state the goal, give step-by-step directions, and state goodwill. So an example of a less effective direction is in 9.6. Again, you see what a subject line is not descriptive at all. It just says travel. What travel are you talking about? Our tone is careless and sloppy, uses passive voice, and makes a message impersonal. Remember, we always want to use active voice. And so here is a more effective direction communication. So tone is very professional, and we state clearly what we want: procedures for setting up travel in the subject line. So responding to inquiries. So there are tips. Set off each question so your readers can directly identify responses to particular questions. Use bullets or numbers, list and or special formats. Components of this include providing responses and state goodwill. A less effective way is here, and then a more effective response way is, as you can see on the monitor above. So more effective response to an inquiry or outline and stated here. And these are great examples. So I want you to make sure, I'm glad they're here for you, and they're included in the students area to see exactly these examples I'm discussing. So creating announcements. Announcements are updates to policies and procedures, notices of events, and other correspondence that apply to a group or of employees and or customers. The subject line must be specific and must create interest. So components of creating an announcement includes: you need to gain the attention, give an announcement, provide the details, have a call to action, and state goodwill. Now, here's a less effective announcement and an example here in figure 9.10. Boy, does it have a lot of information. But the information is incomplete and missing key dates, and it's difficult to read. The tone lacks enough enthusiasm. So you got to have enthusiasm, even with what we're doing. You need enthusiasm for this stuff, guys. And so here's a better one here. The information is very complete. Look at how this is all laid out. It looks so much better than the example before. Look at that, and look at this. Oh my gosh, so much better. So now let's move on to making claims. Claims or requests for other companies to compensate for or correct the wrongs or mistakes they have made. What the claim is, a rationale for the claim, and a call for action. The goal is to have your claim honored. If you want it honored, you got to do certain things. Focus on facts first and emotions second, if at all. Take emotions out of a lot of stuff that we're doing when we're talking business, and we need to use facts. Facts are important, okay? Lay out a logical, reasonable, and professional explanation for your claim. So less effective claim is: please correct billing mistakes and hotel stays immediately. Tone is accusatory and demanded, even from the subject line. Now, here's a better way. Credit to Smith & Smith Advertising due to overbilling of hotel stays. Make claim, provide a rationale for your claim, state goodwill, and tone is assertive but polite. So you can be assertive, but you want to be polite and professional with it. So showing appreciation, a sincere expression of thanks, helps achieve business goals, guys. It strengthens work relationships and can be formal or informal. So here's an example, a less effective appreciation message. Thanks. What is that? Shows excessive aggravated, oh my gosh, I'm sorry. Thanks. And then the tone is self-centered and self-congratulatory. A better and more effective appreciation message says, look at the subject line. Great job on the Avery campaign. Let's celebrate at lunch on Friday. Give thanks. Thanks for the excellent work on your Avery project. Provides rationale. Why was it great? State goodwill. Thanks, Brian. Tone is team oriented. Now, congratulations and celebrations. Congratulations messages reserved for major professional and personal milestones. Okay? Should communicate deep and positive emotion and express validation for the milestone. Components of a congratulation and celebration message should include displays of happiness, joy, and other positive sentiments. Validate their accomplishments or milestones and express confidence in their future. Okay? Now, here's a congratulations message. It's going great. Congratulations on your new role. Displays emotion throughout the message, as you can see. It's a lovely message. It expresses validation because he's talking about leadership skills and strategic visions or exactly what are needed for a director role. It shows confidence in Sandy's future success, and the tone is positive, joyful yet appropriately bittersweet and towards and forward-looking. So now, what about making apologies? What do we get with that? An apology typically includes the following elements: acknowledgement of a mistake or an offense, an expression of regret for harm caused, acceptance of responsibility, a commitment that the offense will not be repeated. Effective apologies should be timely and sincere. And here's a great example of a great apology. Acknowledgement of the mistake is stated in here, statement of regret, statement of responsibility, and commitment to avoid such behavior in the future and approach illustrations constructively. This is a great apology letter. I love it. Now, what about expressing sympathy? The foremost requirement of any expression of sympathy is that it be sincere. When possible, handwrite on a nice card and make it personal. And that's it for chapter 9. So thank you so much for being here with me on chapter 9. It was great. We got through it. We'll go in more details with it during coffee and conversation, as well as our discussion posts. And we're going to get a chance this quarter to really use a lot of the information that I'm covering here. You'll use it in your writing. I'll use it as well. We're all learning and working together. This, just because I'm the professor doesn't mean that I know everything. So we're all working together on something just to make each of us awesome. See you in chapter 10.